Good morning, congregation. My name is Charlotte Fahrenkopf. As most of you know, we had our Alamos and Bahamas mission trip this past summer. The trips themselves were amazing, but the planning behind the process was not as easy as it may have seemed. Because my mom was planning the trips, I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes a few months before everything happened. The Bahamas trip, we had to trust in God that the trip was even going to happen. We originally were scheduled to go to the Bahamas with another organization on the different Bahamas island. The pastor running the original trip had to move to Wyoming a week before our trip was scheduled. He had offered to try and find someone else to take over our trip, but we all knew that it wasn't going to be the same. For a few days, my mom thought that we weren't going to be able to go to the Bahamas at all and have to start over. After she talked to Pastor Claire and our co-leader Brant, they knew that the original plan just wasn't meant to be for us. She continued to trust in God that another organization would happen. We found another group to go with called Praying Pelicans. The new organization was able to schedule us for the same dates which we had been planning on, and it was a little bit less expensive than the first trip was going to be. We had an amazing time, and God knew that what we needed in order to touch the lives of people that we were supposed to meet. God always has a plan for you as long as you can put your trust into Him. In Psalms 56, verse 3, says, "When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you."
I'm Ethan. I also went on the Bahamas trip. And going on the trip with 14 other people and not having a phone to escape to requires a lot of patience. We had to learn to work together and push through uncomfortable times. One of my favorite parts of the trip was running VBS, but working with those kids also requires a lot of patience because they weren't always cooperative. Patience helps us enjoy experiences as we remember to be more patient every day.
I want to be tall. Hi, I'm Braden. I also went on the mission trip, and I think when we were going on this mission trip, we all knew that we were going to learn a lot about different people, their cultures, and their communities. But I'm pretty sure we didn't know how different it was going to be. We still weren't ready for what it was going to be like. The whole place, everyone knew everyone, because it was like such a small island. It's like everyone knew everyone. And they're all so kind to us as well. They were so welcoming and I lost my spot. All right. They were so social and kind and willing, and it was just a great community to be around. And that's probably how that church started too, with how kind and caring they all were. But I feel like that's also how this church started a long time ago. A group of people coming together to create something. That's exactly what we were able to do. This church is a community, and we are all a part of this community. And it's great to be a part of this community. We live in harmony, just like the scripture said earlier. Obviously, we're going to disagree and argue at times, but at the end of the day, we're still all together. And when going to the Vacation Bible School, that's just how they were too. And they weren't afraid to speak up and share their opinions because they all cared for each other. And we should be able to do that here because we are still one community and everyone cares about each other here. Every single one of those kids and adults in the Bahamas cared for each other. Every person in that church and their community. And that's how it should be here, and that's how I believe it is here. Everyone in this room is kind, compassionate, and loving. And that's what built this church and built this community.